In the beginning of time, the Anishinaabek lived around the Great Lakes, but they found confrontation and discord. And so a medicine group called the Wabano led them to the shores of the Great Salt Sea. And there they prayed for a long period of time. And finally, the Creator heard their pleas. And they called upon the four Mado, those ones who sit on the four corners of the earth and protect Mother Earth so that she can sustain us. And so when they prayed, the Creator then called the four Mado to solve their problem. And so the four Mado met, and the Mado first called upon the Crane, the Busani, the Echo Maker. And the Echo Maker had the responsibility of looking after the wishes and the problems that the people brought forward to them. Next came the Bear. And the Bear was the protection, the army, and underneath of the army was the wolf, who were like the police force, and they kept discipline within the nation. Next came the turtle, and the turtle had the responsibility of giving hospitalization, healing, both physically and mentally. Next came the marten. And the marten was the caretaker of the life givers. So the life givers would say, well, you can't fish in that stream. We've overfished it, so we'll move to a different stream. And until that is replenishing its gain, we won't use it. And you can't hunt moose over there because we killed too many moose last year. And lastly came the fish. And the fish were our teachers. So they brought all of these dotems together to make a nation that could be ruled and sustained constantly by the gifts that the Creator had given to us in the beginning, beside the Great Salt Sea.
Welcome to the Crane Gathering Space, one of 7 key Dotem sites that will be featured along the Credit Valley Trail. My name is Raiden Levesque. I'm the Senior Coordinator of Credit Valley Trail and Indigenous Engagement. I'm a citizen of the Métis Nation of Ontario, and my spirit name is White Bear Standing, and I sit with the Thunderbird clan.
The Crane Gathering Space was constructed by the Indigenous Roundtable, members of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Credit Valley Conservation, and many Indigenous designers and volunteers.
In 2017, CVC started planting the seeds of getting support from the Indigenous communities and knew if we wanted to provide Indigenous placemaking along the Credit Valley Trail, then we must create a dialogue between the elders of the surrounding nations within the Credit River watershed. We give our sincere thanks to Elder Carolyn King, as well as Elder Garry Sault from the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation,
Grandmother Kim Wheatley from Shawanaga First Nation, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation Chief and Council, and many other Indigenous peoples that contributed to the creation of this beautiful sacred space.
The Crane Gathering Space is a ceremonial space for Indigenous peoples. The space has the eastern doorway open and has a sacred fire pit in the middle of the space. The eastern door remains open to pay respect for the ancestors that will travel through that doorway during ceremony, as well as through the sacred fire. The site has this beautiful fencing that wraps around the space to represent the crane's wing holding the space. Part of the design of the Crane Gathering Space was based on fishing weirs, which are traditional stewardship practices in waterways to catch fish and create fish habitat. The space has tripods and a fishing weir that pays respect to the old Indigenous customary ways of fishing. As you move along the Crane Gathering space, we have an entrance garden.
In the entrance garden, we have many traditional medicines planted. We have tobacco in the east, cedar in the south, sage in the west, and sweetgrass in the north.
This space will be an inclusive space for Indigenous peoples where they can come and have ceremony, as well as sacred fires, and for non-Indigenous peoples, they can book the space for events, wedding photos, recreational activities, as well as have their own sacred fires from other nations worldwide for their ceremonies. The aim is to help educate the public about Indigenous placemaking, the history of the Anishinaabe people, as well as a safe space for Indigenous peoples to come have ceremony and gather.
We look forward to having you visit the Crane Gathering space.